Okay, so this engine is fully heated up right now. This is the 2006 Nissan Altima. Engine temperature is at 203. I'm just sitting here idling. I'm noticing that the engine RPMs are varying. Normally it doesn't do that, but I guess with the engine fully warmed it acts a little different. So RPMs are going between something like 680 to 720, something like that. Notice the voltages coming off of the backstream sensor is going between 0.2 and 0.8, maybe 0.1 and 0.9, something like that. But you can see that graph there that it has. It's like a sawtooth. Let me reset it. Let me back out of that. Let me start it again so I get a clear plot. Well, that didn't work, so let me do this. That'll do it. All right, so let me run a scan on it and see how we're doing, see if it's thrown in error code yet. No error code, but we're still not ready for inspection. Top half is good, but I've still got 3 on the bottom, the catalyst and the evap system and the oxygen sensor. Now that one will eventually go green. And I've seen catalysts go green too, but not in a while. So, but now the engine is sounding different. Let's go back to live data. All right, so this should give me clean graphs of everything. So O2 bank 1, sensor 2, in other words, backstream. Notice the fluctuations going between 0.8 and 0.2. So you can see the graph there. It's bouncing back and forth. Short-term fuel trims are horrible. It's over 20%. It'll drop down to as low as 12% at times. Oxygen sensor number 1, the upstream, it's relatively stable, so I think it's doing good. So what the hell is going on with this car? You know, MAF airflow sensor is registering about 2.6 grams per second, which is, you know, about right for a 2.5 liter. So let's see what the RPMs are doing. RPMs are down to 687 at the moment, but they'll jump up. So engine RPMs at idle is not consistent. Makes me want to do a relearn on it again. Maybe I'll try that and see if that helps with that. But it's not going to fix these short-term trims. Look how high they are. So air intake leak, is that what's going to cause that? You know, but that's the reason right there I'm failing, I believe. All the instructions on a P420 though say it's exhaust related, not intake. So I don't know. Nissans are a quirky bird. They don't follow the rules, I don't think. But I sure wish I could fix this, because it really is a good car, and I would suspect that if I put this on a dyno, it would pass emissions. But I don't know. Still don't know what to do about it. I've checked for intake leaks. I've checked for exhaust leaks. I've replaced all the sensors. I've replaced the catalytic converter. What else is there? You know, I put fuel injection cleaner in there because, you know, people were saying that the fuel injectors could be clogged. I don't think they'd be clogged anymore. I put that in a long time ago. And I don't know. Well, that's it for now. Okay, so I didn't really just discover this, but I just remembered it. This Blue Driver OBD2 scanner thing, it has a mode 6 mode. Mode 6 mode. It's got something called mode 6. And when you run it, it does a bunch of tests. And if you got a green check by it, I presumably, I assume or I presume that means the test passed. So here's a whole list of stuff it tested. And all of them are green, all the way down the line. So, I mean, I don't think any of these are emissions related, but you can see I'm at the bottom of the list and they're all green. So, what the hell, you know? I'm not getting any clues as to what's wrong with this. But that's the mode 6, and that's this option here on this application. Well, let's do a smog check again. Let's see if it's thrown an error. I've been idling here for about 10 minutes. And those numbers, still no error. Still haven't cleared any of these checks though. They're not ready for inspection. Go to live data again. We're going to see 25% short term. Look at that. That is going to throw another error. I don't think it should be a P420, but it probably will be. It makes no sense. But it's at 25% peg now that we've just been sitting here. The temperature of the engine has dropped down. It was above 200. Is it 203 at one point? Now it's at 192. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I've exhausted everything I could find online about it. There are things like, I don't know, bypass hoses and stuff that might be behind the engine. I couldn't find anything, but if one of those had a crack or something in it, maybe that would explain it. I guess if I had a vacuum gauge, I could put it on the system and see what kind of vacuum it's drawing. Maybe I'll invest in one, because this is just curiosity at this point. What the hell's wrong? If I have a vacuum leak, then the vacuum number would be lower than it should be. By lower, I mean absolute value. Of course, it's going to be higher because it's a negative number. It's a vacuum. But, yeah. So, exhaust leak, pretty sure there's not one, because we clogged up the exhaust with our hands and let it run, and the engine started to stall after just a very short amount of time. So if there was a leak, you'd think that the engine wouldn't starve for oxygen as quickly as it did. And plus it's building up pressure and pushing our hands off the exhaust. We can't keep it on there. Oh man, I don't know. Fuel. Maybe I've got a bad injector. They say if you got a clogged injector that too much fuel will get in, or not enough fuel or whatever, and that will cause problems. That'll cause this number to go to where it has to add. I guess it wouldn't be enough gas. Now what was that all about? The engine just kind of shuddered briefly, and now it's running at a higher RPM, 750 now. So I don't know what that was. That's a clue though. What would cause the engine to do that? So I must have an actual problem. Well, I wonder if it's fuel related. Anyway, so this number being above 0 tells me, or tells everybody, that the computer's adding gas because it thinks it's not getting enough gas. So a clogged injector, low pressure, low fuel pressure. But why would any of that cause a P420 error? All right, I bet you now if I check the scan that there's probably a code. Let's see. Let's scan it and see if this thing appears yellow now. No, still no error. Huh. I mean, it did a weird thing. Seems like it's running more steady at the moment, because earlier the RPMs were bouncing around. Let's see what the RPMs are doing now. Yeah, it's still moving around. 712. 700. I mean, I don't know what's normal. I would assume that it being at 700 or some number around 700 and not ever changing is what you would expect. Not that it's bouncing between 700 and 712. Now it's down below 700, 687. So idle is not solid, but it's not bad. I mean, maybe for a computer-controlled engine it's bad. What is going on? All right, I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, go ahead and post them. Help me out here. I really could use it. I decided to try a different OBD2 dongle. I'm just put in a El Cheapo, like a $3 one that you can get from China. And I wanted to see what the numbers look like from it to make sure the other one is, not causing the problem, like it had an internal problem, is making things wrong. But no, it looks like it's confirming what the Blue Driver dongle is reporting. One thing the Blue Driver isn't reporting is the voltage. This is the voltage at the adapter, 13.7. I just wanted to make sure that voltage was reasonable, and that looks pretty good to me. This car does not report the voltage at the computer, which I was shocked to find out. You would think it would. But the voltage at the computer is not being reported. Maybe that indicates a problem with the computer, though. I don't know. I'm assuming this car just doesn't support that. If you know otherwise, please comment. All right, so the MAF is 2.5 grams per second is perfect for a 2.5 liter. Timing advance 15 degrees at idle. I need to look that up. Maybe I've got a problem with the position sensor. Maybe that's causing these problems. In other words, the crankshaft position. I should be more clear on that. Revs is consistent with what the other unit was saying. The coolant is consistent. Here's the short-term fuel trims. 16% is consistent with the other one. The other one was going as high as 25% at times. I'm sure this one will too. This is the bank 1 sensor 1 voltage 0.3, and this is the bank 1 sensor 2 voltage 0.3, which is not consistent with the other unit. I suspect it's not a problem with the unit though. It's just, let me rev it up and see if we can get some different numbers. All right, so O2 went, bank 1 went to, I'm sorry, sensor 1 went to 0 briefly. So I'm not getting, okay, 0.8, but that's the first sensor, that's upstream. This one was bouncing around like crazy and now it's solid. I don't know what that's all about. Well, anyway, so this more or less confirms the other, I mean, I don't know though. The oxygen sensor voltages are seeming to act differently. I don't know. Could it be the other dongle is influencing it? It has a problem, internal short or something causing that? Still, the short-term fuel trim 16.4% is way too high. All right. Well, anyway, that's just an experiment. And that's all I can really say about it. Okay. Hey, I might be onto something here. I started revving the engine and I was watching the throttle position number. It didn't go up like you would think. So right now it's idle, my foot's off of it. Okay, we're at 2%. So I'm going to start accelerating. Okay, 3%. Still accelerating, 3.5, 3.9, 4.7. 5.5. Now I'm really pushing down on it pretty good. I don't think that's all the way down there. It didn't respond. I don't know, the throttle position sensor just doesn't seem, okay, look, it went down. It's down at 2.7, it's down, obviously it's not 2.7 because if I take off my foot, okay, 2% without my foot on it, and I'm gonna start pushing down. 2.4, should be higher than that. See, the throttle percentage isn't changing. I think I may have discovered a problem here that might be causing all this. That throttle position is just wrong. Can it be that? Can it be the potentiometer for the throttle? All right, I'm hopeful now. I'm going to get online and see if I can figure out something. Thanks for watching, guys.